Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Please accept my humble obeisances. It's I think Sony Mataji will not be available today, so since we already here, maybe we can start with the Mangala Charan, and also I think today's speaker is Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji, as we wait for her also to join. So anyone who would like to do the Mangala Charan, please, you're welcome. And then maybe Vijayanti Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, you're audible now. Can you take a go at it?
If someone starts, I can go along. I don't have independent ability.
Yes, Mataji, sorry, I didn't hear you clearly. Yeah. Okay. Okay, maybe I can do it then if it's not possible.
I will join you, Prabhu.
Okay, it's okay. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutala Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Snavadi Pashtya Ishtar Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyanan Jana Salakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So everybody, once again, welcome to today's session. Maybe we can also continue with reading the text for today as we wait for Her Grace to join us. So today we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse 43 and 44.
May I read
So,
43, Prabhu?
yes, please do, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, 15, 43. Chiravasa niraharo baddhavang mukta murdajaha darshayan atmano rupam jadon matta pishachavat anavekshamano niragad shrunvan badiro yatha. I
Hare
didn't practice
Krishna.
the next one, Prabhu.
Yeah, it's okay, Mataji. You can do the word for word also.
I
And
did
I
not
can
practice,
do the
Prabhu.
translation. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Okay, I can do the translation. I can do the word for word. Shira Vashaha accepted torn clothing. Nirahara gave up all solid foodstuff. Madhavak stopped talking. Mukta Murdajaha untied his hair. Darshayan just a minute. Sorry, Mataji, will you please?
Prabhuji, you can mute him.
Okay. I've done so. Okay. Brad Darsh. Mukta. I'll just begin over there. Mukta Murdajaha untied his hair. Darshayan began to show Atmana of himself, Rupam bodily features, Jada inert, Unmata mad, Isachavat just like an urchin, Anavikshamanaha without waiting for Niragat was situated, Ashranavan without hearing, Badira just like a deaf man, Yata as if. Translation. Will anyone like to do the translation and purport? It's a shorter. Maybe.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Please.
I can do.
Yeah, it's okay, Prabhu.
Translation. After that, Maharaja Yudhishthira dressed himself in torn clothing, gave up eating all solid foods, voluntarily became dumb, and let his hair hang loose. All this combined to make him look like an urchin or madman with no occupation. He did not depend on his brothers for anything, and just like a deaf man, he heard nothing. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus, being freed from all external affairs, he had nothing to do with imperial life or family prestige, and for all practical purposes, he posed himself exactly like an inert mad urchin and did not speak of material affairs. He had no dependence on his brothers, who had all along been helping him. This stage of complete independence from everything is also called the purified stage of fearlessness. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Jai. 1:15:44 is the next verse. So, would anyone like to do the Sanskrit part?
May I, Prabhu?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Udicim
Hare
praveshasham gatapurvam mahatmavihi siddhi brahma param dhyayan navarteta yato gataha.
Krishna.
Hare
Can do the translation also, Mataji?
Udicim, northern side, Pravivesha Asam, those who wanted to enter there, Gata Purvam, the path accepted by his forefathers, Maha Atmabihi, by the broad-minded, Shridi, within the heart, Brahma, the supreme, Param Godhead, Dhyayan, constantly thinking of, Na Avarteta, past his days, Yataha, wherever Gataha went. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to do the translation? If not, I can do it. Anyone? Okay, I'll just read it so that we can conclude. I can go through it quickly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. He then started towards the north, treading the path accepted by his forefathers and great men, to devote himself completely to the thought of the Supreme Personality of God, and he lived in that way wherever he went. It is understood from this verse that Maharaj Yudhishthira followed in the footsteps of his forefathers and the great devotees of the Lord. We have discussed many times before that the system of Varnashrama Dharma, as it was strictly followed by the inhabitants of the world, specifically by those who inhabited the Aryavarta province of the world, emphasizes the importance of leaving all household connections at a certain stage of life. The training and dedication was so imparted and sorry. Sorry, I'll just go back again. I was inhabited by the Aryavarta province of the world, emphasizes the importance of leaving all household connections at a certain stage of life. The training and dedication was so imparted, and thus a respectable person like Maharaj Yudhishthira had to leave all family connection for self-realization and going back to God. No king or respectable gentleman will continue family life till the end, because that was considered suicidal and against the interest of the perfection of human life. In order to be free from all family encumbrances and devote oneself 100% in the devotional service of Lord Krishna, this system is always recommended for everyone because it is the path of authority. The Lord instructs in the Bhagavad Gita 1862 that one must become a devotee of the Lord at least at the last stage of one's life. A sincere Lord soul like Maharaj Yudhishthira must abide by this instruction of the Lord for his own interest. The specific words Brahma Param indicate Lord Sri Krishna. This is corroborated in the Bhagavad Gita 10:13 by Arjuna with reference to great authorities like Asita, Devala, Narada, and Vyasa. Thus, Maharaj Yudhishthira, while leaving home for the north, constantly remembered Lord Sri Krishna within himself, following in the footsteps of his forefathers, as well as the great devotees of all times. Hare Krishna. So I don't know if Mataji. Oh, Hare Krishna Mataji. And well pronounced.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Please accept our humble obeisances, the ones who joined, as well as the one who will join or will watch later on YouTube.
Yes.
We welcome you, Mataji. Please enlighten us for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shrinavata Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Pritayanta Sloki Abhadrani Vigunamti Sukritsadam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna, everyone. And it's a long weekend here in the US. Maybe that's why I think at least Lakshmi Mataji, probably because of that reason, she's not able to join, I believe. And then Kritika Mataji, she said she's traveling. So anyways, so let's get started with our verse for today. And it's an interesting segment. As you all can understand what is going on with Yudhishthir Maharaj. You've read the purports and the Sanskrit translations. So you're all able to sense what is happening to those, to specifically the Pandavas now. So it's a very beautiful segment. How they are detaching from the material world is clearly explained in the purport of Srila Prabhupada. So let's try to understand the purport and then get to our theme for today. So dear devotees, if you're looking at the 43rd verse, today we'll be doing 43rd and 44th. So as you can see, as you read the translation, Yudhishthira Maharaj, what did he do, right? Now coming to the overview of the chapter, which we usually do, just wanted to quickly recap and help you all understand and just get that level setting. So the first 6 verses of the 15th chapter talks about the fact that Arjuna's strong feeling of separation from Krishna. He has various bodily symptoms that are due to separation. And then he's able to feel that Krishna has left me, loss of astounding powers, separation for a moment. And then he feels so void in his heart. And then Arjuna recalls that Lord Krishna favors and protects. So by his mercy, he happened to think, okay, I won Draupadi through his mercy. I conquered Indra. I killed so many other people due to his giving me strength to fight against those people and win them. Like that, he started encountering all the instances, what all happened in his life, for which he was just an instrument, and it was Krishna who did everything for him. And then remembering intimate moments, Arjuna felt void in Krishna's absence. Right? He used to have some frantic joking talks with Krishna, and Krishna, how he used to tolerate in spite of him being the supreme personality of Godhead. And then there was a discussion about annihilation of the Yadus due to the Brahmana's curse through mutual killing. After that, from 24 to 31, it actually talks about the fact that Arjuna focuses on instructions that Krishna gave, and then he attains transcendence. Arjuna accepts everything is Lord's will, and remembered Bhagavad Gita and got all relief from all miseries. Of course, he is devotee, eternal devotee of the Lord, and he's always remembering the Lord. There's no moment of forgetfulness for him from Lord Krishna. But here he's helping us understand how through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, one can get over the miseries that one faces in their life. This is something that Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport also, right? If you look at Srila Prabhupada, he took the instructions of his spiritual master to his heart, and then he started following the instructions to his heart. And this way he was not separated from his spiritual master for any moment, because the instructions of the spiritual master was imbibed in his heart. Through the instructions, he was able to see the spiritual master all the time, remember the spiritual master all the time. So now we don't have God in front of him, even though God may be right in front of us, but we don't have the eyes anointed with prema to see the Lord. But what we have is the instructions that are given through Bhagavad Gita, through Bhagavatam. And because of this, a devotee is able to see the Lord. This is the point we need to grasp, right? Devotee has to see Lord through scriptures, Shastra Praman. Shastras are meant for that. Each and every minute, a devotee should always consciously think about Shastras and how he could act in a particular circumstance, given the circumstance. So, and then during the night, we have to sort of introspect. It looks like everybody is always coming to the point of introspection. Then otherwise, how will we transform? We know Shastras, but are we implementing Shastras in our life? That is something we have to introspect. After a long day, how can I change my attitude towards this person, that person, maybe this interaction I had? If we are able to introspect a little bit, then our hearts can transform, dear devotees. This is some point I keep hearing in the lectures that I hear over and over. The point of introspection and how an introspection can bring transformation to people's hearts. So now we are able to see Arjuna. He understands that everything is Lord's will and remembers Bhagavad Gita and gets relief from all the miseries. The mind becomes pacified, it remembers Krishna, and then his bhakti becomes intensified. Now, then after that, we see Yudhishthira Maharaj, how he's retiring, which is the purport for today. And then before this, you would have also seen Kunti Maharani's liberation. And then there's going to be you would have seen the purport of Krishna's disappearance, and then Kali's entrance. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, after Kali, the entrance is talked about, then Yudhishthira Maharaj, he prepares to leave. This is sort of what you have covered till now, and we will be looking into the purport for today now. So just wanted to give you this brief introduction so you're able to understand and get that mindset. So we are rightly situated. All right. Now, moving to this purport. So if you look at the steps to become materially free, there are different steps for you to become materially free, freedom from material entanglement. We'll have to completely stop that one day or the other. For that, what is needed? If you ask this question, for that, nothing is needed except devotional service. We don't require anything else. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, thus being freed from external affairs, Yudhishthira Maharaj had nothing to do with imperial life or family prestige. And for practical purposes, he posed himself like an inert mad urchin and did not speak of material effects. So basically, now he doesn't want to be bothered by anything material. Yudhishthira Maharaj, he himself has cut off from all the material engagements. He doesn't want other people to interfere and tell him, what to do and all that. As long as he's living in the body, before he quits the body, he doesn't want other people to come and discuss some material things with him, basically. He was dressed in a torn clothing. He posed himself as a madman, a vagabond, simply roaming aimlessly. He has nothing to do. Like that, he portrayed himself so that people don't disturb him materially. So who will approach him? Who will even think of talking to him or asking him or being associating with him? Nobody will bother him if he's in such a condition, right? They will rather keep a distance. Oh yeah, some madman is going and better to stay away from him. And now, when is saying that there is no dependence on his brothers, all that, again, this all is from a material perspective, dear devotees. We need to understand material and spiritual are two different things. But when it comes to material engagements, there is no dependence of Yudhishthira Maharaj for anybody around. So his brothers, they were obviously strategizing, giving plans with regards to administering the kingdom. But everything, all these discussions about administration and all of them stopped. So there was no dependence on his brothers for these administrative matters. So there was a stage of complete independence from everything. And Prabhupada calls it, this is the purified stage of fearlessness. When you're not at all materially dependent, there is no fear, dear devotees. This is the point that Srila Prabhupada is helping us understand through this purport. Oh, who will take care of me? Who will maintain me? Who will talk to me? Who will admire me? Who will tell me good comments, about my beauty, about my personality, about my speech? If we have all these going on in our mind, we can never be peaceful. Because if somebody doesn't praise you, you'll be hurt throughout the day. Oh, nobody didn't praise me. I gave such a good lecture. I gave such a good speech in my college, but nobody spoke retrospective of how I did what I did. Or they didn't appreciate how I came, so nicely dressed to the party, but nobody didn't comment on my dressing. These are all natural talks that happen in everyday society, right? So when we have such expectations with people, material expectations with people, it is going to obviously lead you to unhappiness. There will be a state of fear. Okay, so today you're beautiful, tomorrow you're not going to be beautiful. Today you're speaking due to God's grace, but tomorrow what will happen to your speech? Right? Everything, every moment that we have in our life, it's all completely dependent on Krishna. The reason I'm able to move my hands, my fingers, I'm able to talk is due to Krishna's mercy. When a devotee understands this, where is the question of fear? If Krishna were to give me a condition where I'm not able to move, that's about it. No problem. A devotee happily accepts that. Oh, it is your mercy, Krishna, that you at least gave me life. So I can see your form. If I can't talk, I can see your form. The devotee always looks at, okay, what has God given me? And then he feels happy. So where is the question of fear for him? There's no question of fear. When we are completely dependent on the Lord, there is no fear. This is a beautiful principle, but it's a very deep concept. It is not, it's not something that we can understand. We can only understand it through the lives of pure devotees. And then when we slowly start practicing that acts of surrender into our life, we'll be able to understand a little bit of what is being talked about. The complete dependence. So when we look at brahmacharis, they are giving up their jobs, they are giving up their bank balance, they are giving up everything to the lotus feet of Krishna. Isn't that surrenderance? Yes. Are we there yet? No. Another level of surrenderance. I don't even have a bank account. I just depend on Krishna's mercy. He will take care of me. If he gives food, okay, no problem. That is how our sannyasis are trained, right? That is the level of surrender they have towards Krishna. Oh, if I don't have $100 bank balance, then who will take care of me, right? That is the fear we have. But surrender is above everything. Krishna is the maintainer, he is the protector, he is the controller. These three words are very easy to understand, but very difficult to implement into our lives. He's the controller. That means we are not in control of a situation. Every situation we have in our lives, we think we are the controllers. I want to manage the situation. I want it my way or no way. Isn't it? This is the rule we put in the first place. I want it my way or no way. We want to be the controllers. He's the protector. He's the maintainer. He's maintaining. I mean, even though we are earning, but he is ultimately maintaining us. This point we should be clear. Even without this karma, without the job that I am doing, Krishna will maintain me. That faith the devotee must have, which is the faith that Yudhishthira Maharaj has, which is the point of complete fearlessness. So, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. This is Uttama Bhakti. Very deep explanation that is given by Rupa Goswami. Just understanding this will make your lifetime worthy, because each and everything that is talked about for Uttama Bhakti, qualification of Uttama Bhakti, a devotee should aspire for. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam is the first one. I should not have any other desires other than the desire to please the Lord. That means a devotee should not have any material desires. Material desires includes name, fame, prestige, position. All that is material desires, right? A point should come where our heart is like, no, it is not asking for anything material, but it's just wanting to please the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. When will that point come? That is the day we have to hanker for and keep striving for. Every day is a day of opportunity, dear devotees. Every day we can please Krishna. And that is why introspection will come into play, right? When we start to understand ourselves, what did we do throughout the day? How did I please the Vaishnavas? Through Vaishnavas, Krishna's become happy, right? When we serve the Vaishnavas in the right attitude, tadvidi pranipatena pariprakshena shevya. When we serve our spiritual master in a right attitude, in a humble attitude, thinking yourself not the doer, with the right intention, when we are striving to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada, that time, it's all a question of selflessness. Selfishness means material. Selflessness means you are having a broader vision to please Vaishnavas, to please Guru Gauranga. So this direction, selflessness is where we need to drive to. How can I use this life of mine to be of some use in Srila Prabhupada's mission, in my Guru Maharaj's mission? How can I be an instrument? Of course, I'm not recreating anything. All I'm doing is just like a parrot, I'm repeating the words. Even if I'm able to do that, it will be glorious. But this Anya Abhilashita Shunyam has to be thought through, because when Vishnu Maharaj is behaving this way, he has left everything material. And he's at a stage of purified stage of fearlessness. Now, as long as there is a material relationship or a material connection, always there is a factor of fear. Fear in this material world is due to this material existence. Dvitiya abhinivesha tasyat. We have seen this. It is the pure spirit soul. Imagine it is placed in a foreign atmosphere. It is placed in a foreign land, which it is incompatible. And spirit soul is meant to live in the spiritual world, with this filled with spiritual energy in the spiritual atmosphere. But if the spiritual soul, the spirit soul is placed in this material energy, in this material atmosphere, then how will it be compatible? It is not at all compatible. So immediately what happens? Fear comes. When it's not compatible, I'm not able to thrive in this environment. And then the component of fear comes into play. Because I'm a spirit soul, I don't understand I'm a spirit soul, and I'm just left like a crazy person, not knowing what I should do in this world. So this purified stage is where, when one gets completely free from all fear, no material existence for them. This person is completely free of all fear. That point comes when there is complete surrender. Not like partial surrender. If you have partial surrender, 10% surrender, 5% surrender, still the component of fear exists. The component of fear will not exist when you completely surrender. Okay. So this is the first purport, dear devotees. The second purport that Srila Prabhupada is talking about in the 44th verse is that it is understood from the verse that Maharaj Yudhishthira followed the footsteps of his forefathers, the great devotees of the Lord. We have discussed many times, right, about the system of Varnashrama, how it has to be strictly followed by the inhabitants of the world. Specifically, it emphasizes the importance of leaving all household connections at a certain stage of life. That is why there is vanaprastha, right? After grahastha ashrama, when one feels, at this time, 50 years, I'm retiring, I have to retire, he just quits everything. In terms of his material activities, there is a gradual transition that happens for this person to move on to the next stage, which is varnashrama, where he completely focuses his efforts and time on Krishna Bhakti. Husband and wife might be there, they may be together, but it's only for spiritual purposes they are together. They are there for each other's, advancement in spirituality. At that point, you don't worry, oh, your son is not married, your daughter is not married, she is not conceived, he is not conceived. No worries. You're completely, independent and dependent on the mercy of Krishna. So they strategized it in such a way that, okay, let a person be in grahastha for some time. Once he's done with his grahastha duties, then he transition to vanaprastha. But in certain cases, it may not be possible for us. Practically speaking, a husband might be a devotee, a wife may not be a devotee. So, it may not work out practically. If you ask me, or if you ask somebody, Mataji, what are you talking about? Vanaprastha may not work out for us. My husband, he's not at all a devotee yet. So how can I make him to come to the path of bhakti and take him to varnashrama, which is like, a very elevated stage, so as to speak. So certain difficulties are there. I totally understand. But wherever we are, we have to detach. That is the process. Even you can stay in your own house. You don't have to go to the forest and try to renounce and show that artificial renouncement that you have did to the world. Renouncement has to be at the heart, dear devotees, to start off. You may be surrounded with all materialistic people, but at heart, how are you? The intention, what matters. Okay. So we have to show our intention and purity to Krishna. Then Krishna will reveal everything into our heart. He can make impossible possible. What is not possible for him? We are put through a certain condition in our life for our refinement. If your husband is not a devotee or wife is not a devotee, it is there meant for a specific reason to purify ourselves. So let's take it that way and march forward with a positive notion to say that, yes, whatever situation I'm in, Krishna, you have given me a beautiful life. No worries. I don't have any problem. All I want is to surrender to your lotus feet. How can I do that? How can I do? Please help me, guide me. He will guide you. Have this faith, dear devotees. Krishna answers our prayers. If it is deep and intense and loving, he definitely answers our prayers. So this is what is talked about in every chapter of Bhagavatam, how devotees pray to the Lord and how they get the mercy of the Lord. Right? So we need to understand that. And then, so there's also a particular thing that is being talked about by Srila Prabhupada, which says that the training and education has to be imparted, and thus respectful person like Yudhishthira Maharaj had to leave all the family connections for self-realization and going back to Godhead. Now, somebody may wonder, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he's such a respectable person. He's the emperor of the world. Why he's dressing in torn clothing? Why he's acting like a madman? What's wrong with this person? Why he's doing that? If somebody recognizes him, oh, he's the same emperor. Now he's like a madman. What happened to him? Something has gone wrong with his mind or what? Has he become mentally deranged? No, it is not. The point is, for real self-realization, the detachment from material entanglement has to happen. So Srila Prabhupada, the thing is, dear devotees, we need to understand there are set of devotees who are able to follow the principles of Uttama Bhakti even while doing the job. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj, he might be a king. Okay, he's an emperor. Does that mean he's disconnected from Krishna? There is 24 hours in a day. You may have this question. Mataji, what do you mean? Maybe 8 hours of a day, he kind of devotes it to administration, and then 8 hours for personal activities, 8 hours then for spirituality, thinking about Krishna. Is this how he divides his day? The answer is, the pure devotees of the Lord, like Pandavas, Arjuna, they are always connected to Krishna at all points in time. See, I'm now speaking about Krishna, so I'm able to remember a little bit about Krishna, okay? And you're all listening and hearing, and you all may be remembering Krishna for some time now. After this 1 hour, we may be pulled into material activities. Oh, my son may say, I need a pencil, I need an eraser, I need this, I need that. So I'll start focusing on those activities and maybe forget Krishna for a minute or an hour. I don't know. But when we are talking about the pure devotees of the Lord, dear devotees, a very important principle is the act of devotional service is never broken. They are able to do it. Arjuna is fighting the war. And imagine when we are fighting a war, you just be focusing on people whom you have to kill and who is attacking you. You have to be so focused on that. But Arjuna was able to remember Krishna during the war. All the time. The principle of devotion is never broken, dear devotees. This is the point. A very, very important concept when it comes to the pure devotees, Ananya Bhaktas. That is why principle of Uttama Bhakti, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Nana Karmadi Anavratam, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Rutama. To understand this verse and to implement it is so difficult. We may be aspiring for it, but what is pure devotion? That is being talked about in that verse. So when we look at Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was externally showing the world that he's detached, but he was already detached. He was always detached. And the principle of pure devotion to him was never broken at any instance given ruling the kingdom also. Okay, hope you're able to get this etched into your heart, because There is, devotees, one set of devotees who will leave jnana karma, they will leave everything, whatever karma they have, they will show complete detachment by not working and be engaged in the process of devotional service 24/7. That is one set of Ananya Bhaktas, right? Where we have those devotees, they are completely dedicated to the lotus feet of the Lord. There is no other duty for them. Either they are doing Shravan, Kirtan, whatever, the 64 limbs of devotional service that Rupa Goswami has pointed us, they are doing that continuously without breaking. Mataji, what about sleeping? Prabhupada says sleeping also they will get only Krishna's dreams, and hardly they sleep, it seems. 2-3 hours of sleep, that's all. Or maybe 1 hour, I don't know. Depending upon how much you mature, the sleep will also reduce. Like we saw Raghunath Goswami, he used to eat alternate days buttermilk and things like that. We cannot imitate them. This has to come naturally. We cannot imitate any of these. Only Krishna looking at our sadhana, he will decide, oh yeah, this girl is capable. She's doing so much. She's trying hard from her hand. Okay, let me give some mercy to her. Like that, he will give some mercy. Based on how much Guru Kadaksha you have. Guru's mercy is important. Only through Guru, we can get Krishna's mercy. We cannot approach Krishna directly. That is why Guru is very, very important. He comes and helps us. Yes, Radhika, she is kind of doing these things, or Vajayanti Mataji, she's doing these things. So he will recommend, please shower some mercy upon her. Like that. You won't believe, Mataji, every week she asks me, oh, when is the class? Please send me the link. Every week without fail. How much grateful can I be to Mataji? I mean, even for asking, I feel like I'm so grateful, because I don't know if I am worth it or not, but Mataji comes and asks me, and I feel so blessed and so, so grateful for that. So the thing is, so this is the attitude that Krishna sees. How much eagerness you have, how much he is so willing to do the seva. When we look at these things, obviously, even in the material world, we see, right? Depending upon how much you serve your husband will reciprocate you, isn't it? Depending upon how much you're serving your daughter or son, then the son will reciprocate accordingly. This is a very simple phenomena, even in the material world. Then think about spiritual world. It's the same thing. It's the seva that you do to your master, based upon which the master will reciprocate to you. That is the exchange of love that we have. It's all exchanged in terms of seva, not in terms of dollars, not in terms of money, fame, anything, but in terms of seva. So, dear devotees, that is the point. A pure devotee of the Lord. As I told you, there are 2 types of bhaktas who do Ananya Bhakti. One, they can be engaged in their karma, and they can do their karma, but still the principle of devotion is not broken. The second set of devotees, they completely leave. Jnana Karmadi, they leave. That is why Jnana Karmadi Anavritam is there. Otherwise, Shunyam will be there. Shunyam means, oh yeah, Jnana and Karma is left. Only that person is a pure devotee. No, the person who is doing karma, if he doesn't break the principle of pure devotion, that means if he doesn't break doing devotional service 24/7, then that person is also included. Jnana Karmadi Anavritam instead of Shunyam. Hope you are able to understand this important distinction from the Uttama Bhakti verse, which kind of elucidates the point that you can do your work, but if to become an Ananya Bhakta, the principle of pure devotion, the principle of devotion, devotional service to the Lord has to be done continuous way. It should not be broken at any instance. That point has to be kept in mind. So this is what we are striving for. We are all aspiring for. We are not a pure devotee. That is why we are not yet a pure devotee. We are trying for pure devotion. The day when we are able to, at that time also, this pure devotee will never think he is a pure devotee. This is the humble mood of a pure devotee. At any point in time, he will always feel the dependence on Krishna. That is a pure devotee. And he's able to follow through all these acts that we were talking about, Anya Abhilash, all these. So now that is the status of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Okay, dear devotees, hope you're clear with that concept. And now we will go further on to examine what Srila Prabhupada says. So that's what Srila Prabhupada now explains about Vedic culture also in the purport, if you look at. No king or a respectable gentleman would continue family life till the end. Prabhupada gives a very, very harsh statement on nobody would continue family life till the end. So till the end means till death. No respectful person would continue to live in the family atmosphere, because that was considered suicidal and it's against the interest of perfection of human life. Bhagavatam and other Upanishads, if you look at, we've got this human form of body, and this body is meant for ultimate liberation. If you are not looking or aiming for that, then it's spiritual suicide. Because he's losing the opportunity of this rare human form of life, which he has to free himself from material entanglement. Therefore, it is suicidal, isn't it? You're not using it for that purpose. Then what are you using this for? You're using for your sense gratification. Oh my God, what a waste of your life. This is the point that Srila Prabhupada wants us to understand. It's a very heavy statement. No respectable king or no king or a respectable gentleman would continue his family life till the end. That means you're going on doing enjoyment, enjoying. How long? And then you fail, then try to again climb up, have enjoyment, then fall down, climb up. Yeah, there is hope. I want to enjoy more. Maybe if this doesn't work, I want to enjoy in this. If that doesn't work, then I want to enjoy in something else. You have variety of options, right? The material world has given us so much variety. We want to try this, it doesn't work, that. But everything that we are trying will lead to satiation one day or the other. You'll feel like empty in your heart. This is the point. Anyways, so Bhagavatam, that is why scriptures are given to us to help us understand, oh my God, don't go in this direction. And Shastra Praman, Shastras are the words we have to trust. And if you're asking me this question, Mataji, why I have to trust Shastras? Why can't I trust my mom? Why can't I trust my husband? Why can't I trust my children? They're all educated. They have got a PhD degree. One is a lawyer, another is a doctor, another is a... How can I not trust them? They're giving valid statements. Why I can't trust them? You may ask this question. The reason is, dear devotees, the reason is, Shastras are the one which are right all the time. 100% of the time they are right. They are never wrong. But if you look at your husband, you look at your daughter, sons, they can be right. I don't say they are not right. They can be right. But they're not 100% right all the time. So based upon the experience, a person gathers knowledge, and then he is able to portray that to the world. And this knowledge can be right or cannot be right. It can sometimes give you true knowledge. It can also give you false knowledge. When you get that false knowledge, then you are prone to get miseries, right? Because false knowledge, because of which, say, for example, a person who's addicted to drugs, he says, oh yeah, just taking drugs is the best because it gives you so much pleasure. You can never imagine what sort of pleasure it gives you. If this person who's innocent, follows through his words and starts getting himself, into drugs, then what is the status of that person? So that is illusion. It is leading him to illusion, false knowledge, and eventually misery. So what is right all the time? It is Shastras. Why it is right? Why is Shastra right, and why I have to go to Shastras? Because that is what you say is right all the time. It is coming from the words of the Lord. The Vedas are given to Brahma by the Lord. So this is the source we have to trust, nothing else but Shastras. Okay, so that's the point. And then then he talks about, obviously we know there are different stages, right? Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. We know Brahmacharya is the student life, Grihastha is the householder life, and Vanaprastha, you free yourself from material responsibility and duties. You separate yourself from family comforts. So why they leave to a forest? Because they don't want that luxury that the home provides. I don't want a spacious room. I don't want AC. I don't want all this. I want to naturally depend on Krishna as much as possible and devote my life to Krishna. That is why they detach everything. They detached they are showing that detachment by saying yes. And if you look at it, dear devotees, see, Yudhishthira Maharaj was able to do this act of detachment in a quick moment. When Parikshit Maharaj was informed he was going to, he was cursed and he has only 7 days to leave, he immediately detached. How they're able to do? If you say, oh my God, you are given a curse and you have, it's not easy for us to detach. That's the point I'm saying. So how they're able to detach is because they're already detached. They are living in a kingdom and all that, but it's just external. Internally, they are already detached. This is the point I want you all to understand, because it cannot come in one day, a moment, in a minute. It's impossible to be detached like that. Oh yeah, you given the news, you don't have space to live, then we'll be crying. Oh, I don't have a space to live and I don't have anything, then where am I going to go survive? We will start crying, we will have our emotions, we'll have our fear, everything will come to us. But these people, oh, kingdom is there. I'm supposed to rule because as a, I have to give Krishna consciousness to people, and that is the reason I am ruling. Krishna has made me an instrument in the service of him. That's what I'm just serving everybody. Everything is Krishna's only. Nothing is mine. I'm not the owner, or they have this in their mindset. It's just not theoretical. Hope you're able to understand this important point, because any situation in Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj, anybody, they are already detached and they are just there showing, okay, I'm a king. But internally, that's why they are Raj Rishis, right? They are all Rajas, but they are Rishis internally. Now, so we have Prabhupada quoting Bhagavad Gita, and he just brings this point that one must become a devotee of the Lord, at least in the last stage of one's life, which is 18.62 from Bhagavad Gita. A sincere soul of the Lord like Maharaj Yudhishthira must abide by the instruction of the Lord for his own interest. Now, it is also described that Yudhishthira Maharaj turned towards the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna instructed Bhagavad Gita, it was not only Arjuna who was listening, it was also Yudhishthira Maharaj. So it was instructions that were given to everyone. And obviously, in the last stage of one's life, one must devote one's life to Krishna. Of course, Yudhishthira Maharaj was devotee all through. But just to set example, he's showing us, yes, this is how you materially, you detach yourself externally also from all your material attachments that you have, and you become devoted to Lord Krishna. So this is the point that is being talked about here. And then, if you look at Prabhupada, he also brings up this quote from 10.13 to say, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam. So there, Arjuna is telling, it's not that I'm declaring you are the greatest, you are the supreme personality of Godhead. People may think, oh, Arjuna is Krishna's friend, and that is why he's glorifying Krishna. So he's saying, oh, people will think like this, Krishna, that I'm just glorifying you because I'm your friend. But it is just not me who's glorifying. Devrishi Narada, he also glorifies. We have Asita, Vyasa, everybody is glorifying you. All the great sages of the ancient times, they are all glorifying you. It's just not me. So that point is clarified here in the purport also. And then Maharaj Yudhishthira, while he was leaving home for the north, he constantly remembered Lord Krishna within himself, and he followed the instructions of his forefathers and all the great devotees. And so he completely absorbed his mind on Lord Krishna. And that is what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Manmana bhavamant bhakto. Always think of me, always remember me. And this was exactly what Yudhishthira Maharaj was following, cutting off all the material connections and began to think of Krishna. And then he proceeded towards the north. Later, it will be explained, further. But the main important takeaways are, we have to understand, that is why how we can remember Krishna at the moment of our death. Only when we are practicing devotional service now, we will be able to remember Krishna at the time of death. Otherwise, it is not possible. So whatever we are doing is what we'll be able to show at the moment of critical hour. Say, for example, this person always talks beautiful English, and whenever he meets people, he speaks only English. But when you throw a big stone upon this person, then he will speak out own native language. Babre, what happened? Like that he will shout. So whatever happens at the critical hour depends on what you are as a person internally, what you have been practicing, what intentions you have, what your absorptions are. This is what determines you at the time of death. So nothing can happen in one day. This is all impossible. It takes lifetimes to purify ourselves, depending upon what impressions we have, what samskaras we carry, and what desires we carry. All this takes lifetime of purification, dear devotees. It's not at all easy. It cannot be gotten just like that. So these people are great devotees, and they are just exhibiting these emotions to us so we can see, okay, what can we do in our lives and how can we also follow through their footsteps. This is just for our purification, and we must understand that. Okay, so with this we can probably stop, and we can see the continuation from the next class. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरु महाराज की जय। गुरुदेव की जय। हरे कृष्णा। Thank you, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that wonderful session. I will request any devotees with any inquiries or comments. Please unmute and ask. As everyone maybe thinks of a question, Mataji, I would like to ask. Sometimes when we are in household life, it seems like the attachment, like you were saying before, like the Maharaj Yudhishthira and Arjuna as examples, they were not and Maharaj Parikshit, sorry, they were able to detach because they were already detached. So how can one really know that you are detached or attached to family life?
Wonderful question, Prabhu. The simple thing you can do is, when you're chanting 16 rounds, at that time, what thoughts come to you? That shows what your attachments and detachments are. If you're completely attached to the lotus feet of Krishna, there will be no other distraction other than thinking about the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When you chant these names of the Lord, what do you feel? How are you able to sense your connection to Krishna? Are you some material thoughts coming to you? That means you still have material attachments, isn't it? Day will come when you are completely surrendered and you have no more thoughts other than pleasing Lord Krishna. This is the most important service of the hour. I have nothing else to take care of. I have no other thoughts, and no other thoughts bother you as well. Sometimes you don't want to think, but thoughts come. What to do? Sometimes you don't want that thought. I want to focus on the names of Krishna, but what to do? Thoughts are coming. Still, those emotions are carried into our brain, isn't it? That's the point. We still have material emotions which are controlling us. When we are completely surrendered, at that time we have no thinking about any topic. My son, my daughter, my family, my husband, everything Krishna is there, he will take care. I don't have, everything goes by the will of the Lord. So I don't worry about those things. Instead, I try to only focus on what pleases Krishna. Yes, this is what pleases Krishna. This is what pleases the devotees. Yes, I will do that.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. I understand. It's quite a task, but we can try.
Yes.
And sometimes the thoughts also come during japa. We get very distracted, but maybe it's a better position when the thoughts come. You start noticing that yes, the thoughts are coming, and now you try to fight them.
We don't try to fight, but We just
Yes.
come get our attention back. We cannot fight, because when we start fighting, we ask so many questions to the thoughts, and then we keep on chanting and then deviating, thinking about fighting with
Yeah.
that thoughts. What answer can I give this? Instead, just silence your, intelligence. Intelligence has to be silenced during chanting. Intelligence should not work. Too much of questioning and that, right, wrong, all that should not be done during chanting time. Chanting time, by the mind and, intelligence should be silenced. So let it come. If it comes, no problem. I'll just bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. So that way we try to take care of that problem. But the point is, why I'm telling this is because we have the material desires somehow, where somewhere in the heart, it's all troubling us in some fashion. So when we are surrendered, that will not be there, Prabhuji. So that will determine we are completely pure. I mean, we have purified our consciousness when thoughts don't bother us so much. That is a good thing. And even in our practical day-to-day lives, how much time are we giving to devotional service? How much time are we endeavoring to hear the class, to listen to lecture, do seva, do go to do deity worship? How much time we are giving? That also will help us understand how much time you're giving to material activities. And how much of our consciousness is in material activity and is in a spiritual activity. All that will determine how much affection you have towards Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else with any questions, comments, please? I see it's right. We are right on time. It's exactly 9 o'clock here in Kenya. So if there is no one else with any inquiries, maybe I will request Arya Govind Prabhu, if you are available, maybe you can help us end the session today, Prabhu. I don't know, maybe Arya is not available currently. Vijayanti Mataji, can you help us to end the session today, please?
Mataji, you're not mute. You're on mute.
You're mute.
So how do I end? Should I just leave, Mataji?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's, yeah. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Okay. You just, Mataji, you can just thank Mataji for the session and then can close up.
I think she doesn't know the procedure.
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
she has left. She has left. Sorry.
Yeah, she doesn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll end the session then.
Sure.
I will. Thank you, Mataji, for the amazing session. I will request all the devotees to please unmute and chant Hare Krishna in glorification of our grace, Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Please join. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare.
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki.
Jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Guru. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hari Govind Prabhu. Thank you, Prasanatma Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees.